Hi there. Hope you had a good week. I've had a very interesting, highly emotional roller coaster of a week, and because of a family emergency, I had to come away from London. I'm actually in the Midlands in the UK. I'll be going back to London in a day or so, but what I thought was interesting to do about this week is being faced with former versions of myself. Kind of looking at this picture now, a picture that was taken about 3 years ago, and obviously I had a different hair style, but just looking at that picture and just thinking about the person that I am today in comparison to the person who had that picture taken. I'm trying to look at her while I'm looking at you. And it's just when you look at former pictures of yourself, and particularly when people keep pictures of you that's kind of a snapshot in time, I think they're constantly reminded of that point, particularly if you don't stay in contact with them. It's always something that they're kind of replaying, and you move forward, and if you don't have much contact, then there tends to be a bit of a split in terms of what they expect when they meet you and the constant reminder that they have, i.e. a framed photograph of you from previous years. When I look at that picture and I look at the person staring out of it, I know that what I was going through at that time, it was a really difficult time for me internally. I wasn't really telling many people about it, which is probably the way that I tend to do things mostly anyway. I tend to be more introverted in the way that I deal with things and then write them out. And on going through that, obviously outwardly I still look the same, but inwardly there were massive changes going on, and I knew that I had to change a lot about the way that I thought about the world and what I had been doing up until that point to actually create the situation that I'd found myself in. And I'd come from being involved in like full-time work to actually stepping out of it, or being actually removed from it via the great redundancies that were happening in 2008 and 2009. So this was like a couple of years later, while I was still working out how I was going to make something on a very entrepreneurial basis. So there was a lot of kind of breaking down of beliefs, a lot of thinking about, okay, this is what I thought and this is what worked for me up until that certain point, but it's not going to get me much further. So the person in that picture, as lovely as that picture is, was going through a massive renewal, I will say. And that's not to say that the person that you see here, me now today, has reached that point. I don't even think that that's ever a destination of a final destination. I think it's something that you continually move on to. For my own self, that's what I've decided that's going to be, having come from her and broken things down and being here where I am, more at peace with things. It's like then I actually enjoy the constant and never-ending improvement that I'm going through. So which has brought me to do this video series, and all the ideas that I have that will go forward from this stemmed from the person in that picture who was breaking it down, and to the person who I am today who's trying to put it all back together again. Anyway, so I hope you have a great week, and take a look at one of your pictures. It's interesting. It may be aesthetically one of the better pictures that you've ever had, but then when you look at it, go, I know what was going on there, and it was a tough time. But I hope for you, if you find a good picture, you can see how far you've moved on from there. So have a great week, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Take care. Bye.